When you have so much going on with the basics, young people aren't a priority. They're not a priority. Right now, adults are thinking about $4.19. That's gas prices.
You know, youth prisons versus youth centers is only the surface of it.
I think a community can make or break anybody.
We cannot allow young people's issues to fall by the wayside.
You don't want to turn your back on the future.
Our government does not think in terms of looking at the kids.
You left without an opportunity, you came back without an opportunity. What do you do?
If people perceive the actions of kids to be bad, those actions are no more than our own.
Youth centers? They don't exist. Okay, the barbell's gone. The Q house is gone. So that's two neighborhoods. That's Dixwell and that's the Hill. New Hallville. Anybody know anything? A center in New Hallville?
I mean, we're talking about over the last 15 years or so. We've seen a lot of youth centers close.
There are little programs. There are people doing fabulous work in the neighborhoods, but there's not any youth centers.
A lot of the issues are the fact that there's a lack of family structure. Within the community center, there is that family structure, there is that opportunity for growth, and it's an outlet, it's a resource, it's something to do.
Instead of people just have nothing to do trying to start problems, they would have some place to be where they could just like be with other people and have something to do.
Well, I think being on the surface is about having a place to go. But if youth centers are done right and they have the right people, you know, young people can get guidance, be positively influenced, receive academic and social support. Those things really help a young person develop.
They help you to achieve what you want to do. Like, it's what you want to do, but they're helping you. They're pushing you to the limit. They're saying, okay, like sometimes you want to do something but you quit. Like if you're going to a youth center, they guide you and tell you that it's okay that it's getting hard, but you got to push yourself harder and do whatever you can to get to your goal.
In each neighborhood, I think there should be a safe space that young people can go to.
Every community should have a youth center because that in itself can show the young person the value in where they live.
I think kids need a place to belong, and if there's nowhere to belong, they're going to end up on the street.
If you don't have anything to do, you're going to create your own fun.
We entertain ourselves, and we go out, we go to corners, we go to this hub, we go there, and most of the time that's where the trouble starts.
I don't believe kids get up in the morning and say, oh, I'm going to do something bad. I think when there's lack of places like youth centers to go and lack of support systems in place, kids hang, and when they hang on the street and there's nothing to do, things happen. And I think that happens quite a bit here.
You can't have a kid standing on a corner. Worst thing there is.
Mostly, all the youth be around here standing around, and the cops come through and like, you know, push us off, and we ain't got nowhere to go.
That's part of the problem now. Within individuals' own neighborhoods, they're congregating and doing nothing. So there has to be something, you know, accessible to them.
If we don't give them that, then what young people are going to do? They're going to do what they know. And that's often being out on the street, hang with other young kids, hang with other older adults who are ignorant, who are not trying to help them further their goals, which often it's kind of like it's our bad omens. It's our bad omens. The kids are out here pulling the trigger on somebody because they got disrespected.
There's nothing else out there that's telling, hey kids, come do this. This is going to make your life better. I'm saying, instead of going out shooting guns, whatever.
What
come
is it?
here,
What
come
is
to the
it?
youth.
Come to the youth center? You willing to kill somebody? If you're willing to kill somebody, not you specifically, but if there's a person that's willing to shoot and kill somebody, going to the youth center is going to change that?
Behavior is something that's learned, just like violence is learned. If it's learned, it can be unlearned. But if I learn that when I get mad, the first thing I'm supposed to do is start cussing and look for a weapon, if that's what I was taught, that's what I'm going to do.
There's some other issues that exist.
And
believe me, I'm not against youth centers. I'm not against youth centers. But my stance on this is that, the issue is deeper than a youth center. You know?
You know, it's unfortunate that the adults fear the young people.
One of the things I see a lot of times is kids walking down the street and adults will be coming the other way. The adults will cross on the other side because they don't want to be near the kids.
I believe that the young people should be embraced. Are they? Some are, but a lot of them are not.
I don't think enough people are aware of what young people are really experiencing.
Like, do y'all think that coming from somewhere, like where you came from, like where you was born and raised, do you think it reflects on where you will go, like in the future?
When it comes to our urban youth, it doesn't matter really if you're black, white, Hispanic, Asian. Your ethnic background really becomes irrelevant when you come from an urban sector.
And so basically from being born in New Haven or being born in a certain area, you're at risk. Before a child speaks their first word, they're considered at risk.
When you have somebody telling you that you won't be nothing, you're not gonna amount to nothing, you start to believe them. You start to, oh, maybe because I'm from here, I can't do nothing.
So I think a lot of our youth in New Haven are not associated with necessarily who they are opposed to where they live.
I remember my freshman orientation at school, and my principal was actually telling us about that if we share our lockers and that if someone else has our locker combination, that we're actually gonna get our stuff stolen by somebody from New Haven. It's gonna be raffled off on the street somewhere. The people that should be building you up, like, be the people that's tearing you down. Cause I always thought of myself as like a bright person. But one day he said to me, like, you from the projects, what you think, like, you're not gonna be in college, you're not gonna go to college. And I was young when he said that, so I was like, oh, I'm probably not gonna go to college because I'm from the projects. My father was locked up for 8 years. So that's 8 years of my life he hasn't been here, so I was raised by my mother. And recently he just got out, but then he went back in like last month. And I really, since I didn't have a father, I didn't know how it felt to have a father. So when he did come, I didn't appreciate him. And I didn't realize what I had till they took him back. And it really did affect me a lot. Because now I can't, because my mother worked so hard, I can't turn back to my father because he's not there no more.
I think young people growing up without a strong family support, they're struggling in different ways. In ways that maybe a youth center doesn't solve it.
We don't really have any direction. We don't have anyone telling us, oh, you need to do this to get here, or you need to do this to go to college. So everybody points the finger at us, but nobody tells us like which way to go.
Hey, ain't nobody come down there and lay the map down and say this how you gotta do it, this how you should do it, you should study, this how you should be on your game. You know what I'm saying? Never had that positive role model. My father did 10. My mother did whatever, you feel me?
We look towards our peers, and most of our peers, they going in the wrong direction too. So we're all going into the wrong direction because we have nobody to lead us to the right direction.
By no means am I saying that every young person in the city of New Haven feels like they're doomed. But for those that are heading down the wrong path, there has to be something solid there for them.
I think think they want to have them put away because out of sight, out of mind, they figure, well, if I get them out of my way, I don't have to deal with them.
There's this misconception that if you get rid of the problem, then, you know, things will get better.
Analysts have said that, you know, if we can, the best way to serve juveniles who are hard to reach are to get them into the system so we can get them services. And this is a practice that's followed, this is a philosophy that's even followed in Connecticut.
That must be why juvenile arrest in New Haven is double the rate in Connecticut and 3 times the rate in the United States.
When you arrest a young person, it only requires about 5 sheets of paper to take their freedom. It only requires 1 sheet of paper to return that freedom back to them. In between those approximations of 10 pieces of paper that are worth probably about 5 cents a sheet, so that's about 50 cents. Of that 50 cents worth of paper it takes to take their freedom and give them their freedom back, often about $10,000 is spent in services just to handle that paperwork.
$300,000 is insanity. That is. I just can't even, I mean, a young person could, I mean, their whole family could like a mortgage could be paid off and they could have a house and food and, you know, clothing and all that.
If I could spend $365,000 on one kid in the city of New Haven at the state level to incarcerate them, give me that $365,000. And I'll guarantee you that I'll keep 1,000 kids from even getting arrested. I think what we're doing in a lot of police departments is we're reading the book backwards. We're saying, lock everybody up, and then let's see what happens after that.
The way our youth jails are designed, it will not help the youth. Right now, the way they are, we just basically incarcerate kids, and we don't work on making change in the way they do things and understand things and process things.
I have a friend in CJTS, and he's really a good kid, but he has no direction.
If we have a young person that's out there and they're truant and they having problems at home, they're not listening to their parents, and you know, there's some other issues going on with them. If we can just get them in the system, if they can just get arrested.
He was like, I don't deserve to be here. He went to jail for truancy, and he got 18 months. 18 months. Because he was on probation, and he missed, I think, 7 days of school.
I don't think a child that doesn't go to school needs to be incarcerated. I don't think a child that does petty larceny needs to be incarcerated.
Juvenile court is backlogged with a lot of nonviolent offenses. What are those nonviolent offenses? There are disorderly conduct. There are trespass first. Kids are in the backyard, someplace they don't need to be. They get stopped. Police are locking them up for trespass.
I think we're all struggling with this whole public safety thing and, you know, arresting kids. And I think we could take a longer look at that. And how do we support young people while, you know, still maintaining structure in the city?
In New Haven, in regard to what I believe the city could do, should do for young people, I'm just not a believer.
A couple of years ago, the mayor announced youth would be a priority of that next term, and basically brought folks together to talk about what are the needs of youth and how could the city better support youth.
There's so much, I think, simple things that could be done that just are not happening for young people from the city.
Well, I think the city plays a central role in facilitating bringing people together, making sure that there's resources available, and setting the tone, setting culture around what we want for young people.
It's all y'all fault. It's running through y'all. I got it with from you. I can't sit here and talk about it. It's their fault, man. Because if they really wanted to do something about it, it would have been done.
And then you can sit back and say, you know, you should invest in this and don't do that and do that. Then I would say, yo, what are you doing? I mean, because I'm out here, you know, and I'm working, I'm doing my part, I think, and I'm listening to you, you know, and I want to listen and I want to work on your behalf and my behalf too. But if you're not telling somebody, and you run with these guys, if you're not telling them, yo, cut that nonsense out, that don't make sense, then you hurting me.
Adults don't need to cop out to speaking to the real issue of young people by saying, well, it's up to the kids to do what they got to do. It's up to the kids to make the right decisions.
I can't provide a better opportunity for him, feel me? I think adults in the city of New Haven could do that for you.
So what do you tell me if I say, well, you know, I keep on going to the legislative bodies and I keep on telling them that youth are important and we need these things for young people, and, you know, when they're not listening to me? What do you tell me? Pack up and go home? You tell me to get out there and keep working and try something new and develop a new strategy. And that's what I'm saying to you.
It's up to us to to say what we want to do. Like, we gotta speak out so they can know what we want to do and so we could do it.
Basically, the poster, we want to bring it to like people in like decision-making power. We want to get like legislators and all the people and people in the community to sign it. We chose these two demands because we felt like, one, it says like there should be a ban on admissions to Connecticut Juvenile Training School. If it's a maximum security facility, then you shouldn't be there for nonviolent offenses. And also with the second one, like decision makers should direct money and resources into youth centers, because we feel like if there were more resources and money into like youth and youth centers and like resources, then a lot of youth wouldn't have to end up at the Connecticut Juvenile Training School. And basically, we found a way to connect both of those.
We did a documentary in
Tell me-
2005, and it showed that 75%
Get
of
me
inmates
something
with
that
CJTS.
explains what you mean by nonviolent offenses, and drop it off in my office. I'll take a look at it. Okay? Explain to me what that is.
Okay.
Thanks,
All
guys.
right, thank you.
Can I get your name?
Huh? Sneaker. Hi.
So the police is here because like they saw a whole gang of kids here, like, cause they're suspicious. Colored kids, like inner city kids, like, feel me? So basically they came to see what we was doing. So I explained to them what the petition and all was about, feel me? So they was like, well, that's great. Oh, this and that. So I was like, would you like to sign, sir? He was like, oh, I'm so sorry, I can't do it though. Got the poster for, as you can see. You got youth out here doing good. Everybody chilling with each other. No problems, no nothing. And they saying that you can't come together. And you came together to sign this. So I don't know what they're talking about.
It's a tough battle where we are in the society right now, and so if we don't make some changes with the leadership that exists, it's scary to think where we're going to be in another couple of years.
If I had a batch of millions, I would stash it for my children. There's a riot in me and it's topping with piety, eternal firing. There's a lot of irony in society. The lions here are not telling entirely the truth, but I grab the facts fast like an emotional diary that I die to read. Upsetting, tiring, how I bump to the side for future failure. It ain't right to me. Money being sent off the prisons, I see no visions. Only teen killings, and our teens aren't the mean villains. I hope this bleeds like all the Reed spillings and leaks filling a bucket of green sitting fills up to the T, millions and billions of G's locking up teens. What the G.O.V. Rio's me, my J.O.B. And say if not, then say if we go make a lead. Ain't in jail but breaking free so I can speak.